Chapter 12. Some Fishes in Maidstone Ditches. The village of Maidstone is located in the middle of Essex County of southern Ontario. The west end of Lake Erie is about 20 kilometers south of Maidstone, my hometown. Northeast and another 20-some kilometers is Lake St. Clair. It is therefore not a wonder that fish can be found swimming throughout the various rivers, streams, and ditches throughout the county. It is also the network of ditches that help drain the otherwise extremely flat and agriculturally rich county landscape. Along with overflowing brown water during the spring, the ditches are visited with pike during spawning season. A little later in the season, even the larger-sized carp arrive. Our house had one such ditch running right next to it. While Dad approached the service desk for brake parts, I eyed a display of brightly painted fishing spears attached to long wooden handles. These were sharp, multi-pronged, and marketed for the popular sport of spearfishing. They looked remarkably toy-like, and contrary to the actual dangerous potential of these fishing instruments. It was widely known at school that pike fishing season was at its peak, and schoolyard banter of spearfishing abounded. The boys exchanged stories of the monsters they had speared. On his way back from the parts counter, I asked Dad if he could please buy me a fishing spear. I knew the immediate answer would be a resounding no, but I asked anyways. I saw pike swimming in the ditch yesterday, and can you buy a spear so we can fish? I asked. To my surprise, my dad responded that he would fabricate a spear at home. I can make one of those, but better, he replied. We later rummaged through Dad's metal junk pile behind the garage and dug out some rusty pitchforks. Dad, a welder by trade, had a garage filled with metal forging tools like a large arc welder and an oxy-acetylene brazing set with torches. He possessed all manner of grinders, cutters, hammers, and equipment that made loud noises, sparks, and smoke. A myriad of tools and supplies lined the dusty shelves and storage cabinets. Partially finished product lay strewn across the busy floor. The sounds and smells of welding and grinding metal always reminded me of my youth. It seemed Dad was able to create anything out of steel. With his welding tools and blacksmith-style hammer, he wrought the red-hot metal forks into lethal-looking, multi-pronged spearheads. I watched cascades of sparks fly as he pounded the metal to create barbed ends. He then fastened both spearheads to wooden poles, formerly functioning as broom handles. Dad fabricated 2 fishing spears, as good as the ones at Canadian Tire. My younger sister, Helen, insisted on fishing with me, given that I was already 12 years old and she only 11. I protested loudly. "Girls don't fish," I said. Dad insisted that I needed to let her, and reluctantly I complied. Mum now observed us with trepidation. She protested loudly against Dad's less than sane decision to allow spear-carrying young children to a ditch of spring runoff water while carrying deadly sharp spears. Helen and I happily marched our way down to the ditch, clomping along in oversized rubber boots while pretend jabbing spears at make-believe adversaries. In March, the high water and snow melt-off had resulted in an April's moderate flow of brown clay-infused water. The steep and muddy climb down the ditch bank led to a narrow-flowing stream. As miraculous as it was, while the two of us waited, straddling the flowing brown water, our anticipation was met with a distinctive sound of splashing upstream. Sure enough, At a fast pace, pike were coming our way and down the impossibly narrow course of water. Peering ahead, several large pike churned the water frothy white and headed directly towards us. I stood at the ready and in perfect lunging position while momentarily turning to bark orders at Helen. "Be ready and stay back. Watch carefully. I'll show you how to spear fish." Poised perfectly, like an Olympian athlete, I thrust my spear, wildly jabbing over and over into the splashing riot of pike. Now exhausted, I fell against the moist clay ditch bank, only to notice that apparently I had missed every single fish. Frustrated with my efforts, I swung around in time to see my sister Helen, several yards behind, straining hard against the weight of an enormous pike attached to the end of her spear. We both barely managed to wrestle the thrashing fish up and out of the ditch. Finally, on the lawn, we were met with Mum and Dad expressing opposing reactions with our catch. Dad provided glowing congratulations, while Mum lamented that we had just killed a beautiful and innocent fish that harmed no one. Dad insisted that Mum cook the fish. She vehemently protested and would have nothing to do with cooking a fish that came out of a dirty ditch, she said. As it turned out, our dogs and cats ate well for a couple of days. We buried the rest of the pike and had chicken for dinner that evening.